Aleister returns to Yu-Gi-Oh! For the first time in like 5 years. We get access to the Pumpking strategy, and Angelechy joins the power of Elf Note. Sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So Aleister is leaping back into action for probably the first time in years, honestly. Now, I don't think that this strategy is all that obsolete right now. I think, honestly, having your new leash on life is going to make this deck look pretty enticing to people, especially since we got access to the Space Whale, which is just a giant walking, talking macro Cosmo. It says your opponent monster cannot target this thing except for, they target this thing for attacks. And then, basically, while it's in the extra monster zone, any monster sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead. I love one-sided macro Cosmos. They're so good. And of course, yes, Mixosia, the confounder, now being a extra little fusion target for you to be able to use, basically turns Aleister into a massive vacuum of craziness for you to be able to fuse with. And I think this is actually pretty flavorful for Aleister, being able to just kind of bridge into all of these little extra places for him to go. Now, obviously, new Aleister just gets to be a free extender, and obviously, it banishes any invoked card for you to kind of get set up with to bridge for combo line, which is fine. See, we're playing the 1 Rosa Mundi for this. We're also playing the 2 Invocation Sword. And also, we're actually building in the Draco Tail cards in here, which I think is kind of nice. We're also playing 2 OG Invocation. You kind of have to remember, dear old original Aleister can only specifically search for Invocation. So, you're stuck having to play the really bad cards, I feel like. But obviously, at the end of the day, these aren't all that terrible. They still serve a very, very strong purpose in the deck, which gets you set up to go. Obviously, having the original Aleister, the Invoker, in here, I think helps out quite a lot for this deck. So, actually not looking too bad for the idea for this. Next up, we get to see the looming terror. That is the Pumpking strategy. Now, Pumpking as a whole, and actually like the zombie pile right now, this deck, it's seen better days, honestly. I do like the idea, though, that we are playing good old Wandering Titan of Tartaros. This thing is freaking hilarious. If this card is sent from the deck or to the graveyard, send as many cards you control as possible to the graveyard. And if you do special summon this card, then send cards your opponent controls to the graveyard up to the number of sent cards by this effect. This guy's job is to be able just to clean up entire fields while just, kind of being the indomitable zombie horde master that you would kind of expect him to be. Now, obviously, this is a zombie pile, so unfortunately, we are going to have to still kind of rely on, the Pumpking stuff and the Call of the Haunted to kind of be the base. Because zombies, ever since Eldritch the Golden Turd, I'm not going to say this deck has not had an identity, but you are still basically a zombie deck with good generic cards. Let's call it what it is. And Mizuki and Goizuki are still the generic powerhouse cards that you expect them to be. It's just, we have to build these in. This deck has gone so far as even being able to play Boulder Drock in here, which is just kind of free access for you to get set up. Also, Black Awakenings to feed the Golden Lord. You've also got access to, maybe not the most extensive play line for this, but it's also pretty important to remember. Delta of Invitation is still a giant free setup for this. It still mills down and creates token. I don't know what more you could want from this card, just being your, initial piece, especially, as long as Fallen Angel ends up getting free access for you to do your thing. I don't see the problem here. So, definitely good to see the zombie deck coming back together. Now, we have the Power Patron Elf Note strategy. Now, this list is choosing to play the Witness of the Ancients and Angelechy and things like that. In terms of the main deck package that we're doing, one problem, and then, of course, the triple E4, and then we have Witness. The cool thing about this deck is level 8 is like the go-to for all of these strategies now. The only thing that the TCG did was they looked at Glitch Nullgainer and they said, what if we print a card to consistently upgrade the consistency of these strategies. And that's exactly what we did, because now you're able to bridge on into Witness of the Ancients, and congratulations, this can further get you tokens set up. This bridges into your entire combo line of everything that you need. I mean, the deck is only choosing to play the one pawn. The reason why you cannot really dedicate more to this is you need, even if you look at like the Elf Note combo line as a whole, you still have to have a good chunk of pieces in here just to be able to fuel this strategy. So that's the thing, right? Like, you're only getting 6 extra deck slots to work with this. And I think, like, on the bare minimum, it's fine. You're also still getting a level 2 tuner beamed on out off of, E4, which absolutely is good enough to get your combo lines initially set up. So I think all, deck building and all early testing aside, I think the Angelechy package being built into Elf Note does help out the Elf Note strategy to a decent point. I don't think that we'll be seeing this fall apart anytime soon. I just find it's so cool just to see that a TCG exclusive archetype is having an impact. It means you also only need to get 1 overframe copy of Witness of the Ancients, which helps out a lot. Next up, Radiant Typhoon. Speedroid cards. What are we doing here? So I guess this has been something that's been coming up a little bit more recently. Was, why would you not want to play, you're going to windlock yourself anyway in this deck, which is fine. So if we build a car turbo into this and we get access to the Daiduko Duke, we can do some really fun things, because Rubber Band Shooter just is 2 wind monsters to make this. Oh, okay. So we're already going to naturally be able to stop by this anyway. For the inclusion of what we're going to call 2 dead bricks within the deck, I get access to play Rubber Band Shooter within my strategy and actually make my deck feel a little bit more consistent, as we're going to say. I mean, that's about as good as you're going to get. Obviously, I think the current state of Radiant Typhoon is a little bit rough. Obviously, we've been without the full turn skip of the Harpy's Featherstorm for a while. We are underneath the limitation of Chant, which you replace the Chant, you build in the Daiduko Duke in the car turbo to be able to go down that way. You're also playing the Harvest Ginger. This card comes up a lot more than it really should. I also see, we're getting a little bit more creative in our liberties here. We're getting access to Georgius and Luin here. As long as you can get Georgius equipped up with this card, you're going to be able to do the lock on your opponent, which just shuts off their entire graveyard. Georgius is a very unfun card. The more I've been seeing this guy come up in terms of, like, the random testing, the more I understand, like, yes, this card is pretty funny and pretty good. Also, we are playing a Stellar Wolf save for it. It's actually been a little while since I've seen this guy coming up, but okay. Our last list here is also branded. Now, branded, the most interesting thing that you get from this is Mix Osa can be tossed into this deck, because it's just a spellcaster monster plus a non-spellcaster monster. So, I mean, like, hello? Blazing Cartesia bridges into this. Super Poly is now a new gateway for you to be able to unfold into with this strategy. Like, Mix Osa was always going to be a free slot into this deck, just for you to be able to work with. But in terms of that, I see this list is choosing to play the branded sword, which is fine. We're only doing the 2 Blazing Cartesia. I think the current setup for 2 Blazing Cartesia has been just fine. You don't want to bulk down too much on this card. While it looks incredibly consistent and powerful, it's fine. Also, we're choosing to play the Forbidden Crowns in here. Crown is just such an amazing card in this deck. You also notice, there's no droplets. Nadir's Servant has also become, I would say, painstakingly mandatory within this list, because, you no longer have to go first. Well, obviously you want to go first, but, you don't have to dedicate your whole, setup to go, and also kind of insulate you a little bit better from getting blasted out by a Fuawas. Your old Fua resolving here can just kind of ruin your entire day. So, For the mono branded package, you didn't really gain anything too crazy. I mean, this is a great piece. But you've not lost anything either, which still kind of just leaves you in the race to be a decent challenger. And that's all more that we could really ask for. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.